What's going on, everybody? Lil Chris here, and it's been quite a while since I've recorded a video for y'all, as I've been really busy with work lately, but I've also been working on some stuff in the background that I can hopefully add to my recorded videos as well as to my live streams. And what's that, you may ask? Well, I've got my GoPro mounted above my table again, which I haven't done in quite some time since I did the Nick Varner 9-ball drill video. But I'm leaving my GoPro up here permanently now, so you're going to get to see this view more often. Now, what I'd like to do for you today is break and run this 9-ball rack. But I want to emphasize on keeping the cue ball on the good side of the shot line of the current object ball, so that way it's easier to transition to the next object ball. Now, if you've been following the channel long enough, you should know that I have a high predictability of knowing where all 9 balls are going to go on the break. The 1 ball can fall into the side pocket, but I usually try to get it to drift past the side pocket and hit this side rail and then land in this area here for this corner pocket. But sometimes I do hit the brake just a little too hard, and the 1 ball will come all the way down to the short rail and bank up and be set up for this corner pocket. The 3 ball is going to bank off the side rail and head towards this side pocket where it could possibly fall. The 6 ball is just going to dribble out of the rack and then land in this area here. The 4 ball is going to fall into its expected corner pocket. The 9 ball really isn't going to go anywhere, while the 7 ball will bank 3 rails around, and when it gets to this area here, it can collide with the 8 ball. And if that happens, then the 7 ball has a tendency to head towards this corner pocket. If the collision doesn't happen, then the 7 ball has a tendency to head towards this side pocket. Now, after the 8 ball banks off this short rail and heads into this area where it possibly collides with the 7, if that happens, then the 8 ball will come off this side rail and then head over here, which is where I expect the 5 ball to be. If the collision doesn't happen, then the 8 ball will just hit this rail and then land over here where the 6 ball could also possibly be. And the 5 ball is pretty much going to do the same thing. Bank off of this short rail, but land over here. And like I said, if the 8 collides with the 7, then the 8 is going to be over here as well. While the 2 ball banks off of this short rail and then heads towards this corner pocket. Now, as far as my cue ball is concerned, I'm just going to hit it with just a little bit of topspin. Try to hold the cue ball near the middle of the table. Now, it looks like there was an unexpected collision with the 7 and the 8 in the back here, which caused the 8 ball to fall into the corner pocket. Now, I do have a shot on my 1 ball as expected, but as you can see, the 2 ball is not down here, and it looks like there was a collision with the 6 ball since the 6 ball is further down the table than I would expect. The 3, 9, and the 5 are exactly where I expect them to be. So now, when we look at this layout, here's my shot line on the 1 ball, which means I have to cut my 1 ball to my left, which means the cue ball automatically goes off to the right. So I can either try to draw it to the side rail or force it to go up to catch the short rail. So when I look and see where my 2 ball is at, it's probably ideal that I just allow my cue ball to drift forward to the short rail and come back up. But now I want to look at my 2 ball and see the shot line of the 2 ball and realize that because of where my 3 is at, I don't really want to have a large angle cut on the 2 ball. I either want to be straight in on the 2 ball so I can perform some sort of stop shot, or ideally, I might want to be slightly on this side of the shot line of the 2. Because that way I can cut the 2 into the corner and have my cue ball come to this side rail and back out to still have position on the 3 ball. So when I look at this shot here, I'm just going to play this with a bit of top spin and just a touch of right spin to try to land straight on the 2. Now, I'm not quite straight on the 2 because we can look and see. Here's the shot line of the 2 ball, and I'm on this side. But since I'm really close to the shot line, I can actually hit the 2 ball pretty full, and the cue ball really won't go anywhere. It's going to drift slightly off to the left, which is going to be okay because that's exactly where my 3 ball is at. So now what I want to do is look at the shot line of the 3 ball. And so when we look at the 5 ball, we can pretty much see that as long as we stay on this side of the shot line here, we can stun the cue ball past the 9 and have some sort of a cut shot on the 5 ball in this corner pocket. If we land on this side of the shot line when we stun over, then we can see all we have to do is kind of just draw the cue ball towards the middle of the table, and we'll still have a shot at the 5. Now, ideally, I would like to get as close to that shot line as I can, because in that way, I can just play a stop shot on the 3 ball. So I'm just going to let the cue ball roll into the 2. And we can look and see that I'm fairly straight on the 3 ball. So now we come and look at the 5. Look at the shot line of the 5 ball. But when we look and see that I'm going to play a stop shot on the 3 ball, that automatically means I'm on this side of the shot line. So therefore, I know that my cue ball can come 2 rails around, or even try to force it to go 1 rail and come out towards the middle of the table for position on the 6. But ideally, the cue ball naturally wants to go this way. So I'm just going to help it and go 2 rails around to get position on the 6. So with the 3 ball, I'm just going to use a little bit below center to just stop the cue ball. Now, with the position that I do have, like I said, I can have the cue ball come off the short rail and come back down, but I don't want to risk running into the 9 ball. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and do 2 rails around and get position for the 6. Now, because of where the 7's at, I can almost land anywhere I want on the 6 ball. Because since this is the shot line of the 6 ball to this corner pocket, you should see that if I land on this side, then I can just stun my cue ball over this way for position on the 7. If I do land on this side, then I just need my cue ball to come off of the side rail here and come back to the other side of the table to get position on the 7. I think with this shot here, I'm going to play it with just a touch of draw and some left spin. Now we can look and see that I'm almost directly on the shot line, but I'm slightly on the right side, which means I could just stun my cue ball slightly to the left and try to get fairly straight on the 7 ball just to play a stop shot for the 9 ball here in the corner pocket. So here, all I do is just put slight below center and just stun the cue ball to my left. Now, since I do have an angle on the 7 ball, I've got quite a couple of options that I can do here. I can try to use bottom right and hold the cue ball on this side of the 9 ball to shoot it into this corner pocket. I can probably use a little bit of stun right, come off the side rail and head over here to play the 9 ball into that corner pocket. Or I can use top left spin and spin the cue ball 3 rails around and land on this side as well to play the 9 ball into the corner pocket. Of the 3 options, I like the stun right spin to land over here. Because if I hit too hard, then the cue ball will just hit this rail and come back over here. So I almost land on either side. If I hit too soft, then the cue ball lands right here and I still have a shot into this corner pocket. But if I hit it just wrongly enough, which sounds funny to say, I end up on the 50-yard line where I have to cut the 9 ball into either of the corner pockets. But ideally, I am trying to land over here. And now we're good to go. 9 ball, corner pocket. And that's going to wrap things up for today's video. So I hope everybody was able to enjoy seeing the aerial view once again, and you'll be seeing it more in the future because I am working on setting up a dual view where you can see this view plus the aerial view at the same time during my live stream attempts at straight pool. Now, with regards of me running the 9-ball rack, I hope everybody was able to understand that concept of trying to keep the cue ball on the good side of the shot line of the current object ball, because as you saw, it makes it fairly easy to transition to the next object ball. But sometimes you're not always going to be able to get your cue ball to land on the good side of the shot line. And when that happens, you're just going to have to try to move your cue ball a little bit more than you would like to try to get your cue ball back in line to make the rest of the run out a little bit easier. So that's pretty much going to wrap things up for today. So if you liked what you saw, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and then be sure to click the bell notification icon to be notified whenever I go live or publish a new video. Take care, everybody.